Welcome back to part 2 of fixing your left hip pain or thigh pain. And to start it off, I want to let you know you're not the only one that's going through a bit of hardship right now, maybe a bit of pain, discomfort. My baby Lupo here is as well, hence his cone. And I wanted to use this mat area to film, but I've had to set the camera up time and time again, and he just keeps going back to this spot. So we're just gonna work around him, and at least you get to see him because he's cute. So as we get into today's exercise, it's really important that you have had some time to go through the previous training that we went over. Make sure you feel a bit connected with those exercises because it's going to help you with today. And if you are feeling a bit lost, don't worry. Sometimes it takes a bit of practice until we actually can understand or grasp what we're trying to achieve. I have experienced that myself as well because I've had a lot of left hip, left back issues. So I'm so passionate about helping you through this. And sometimes when we try to uncover those icky spots in our body, it takes longer than we think initially. And also when we do figure it out, we're gonna be like, oh, was that it? But unfortunately, it just took the time it took to figure it out. There's a popular quote I will leave you with before we get started that I love, and it really applies to me, and maybe it's gonna apply to you too. And that is, you'll hear it when you're ready. And sometimes you have to hear something over and over and over again until it just hits you. And you're like, that's what they mean, or that's what that is. So the more you practice, the more you put into it, the better result you're gonna get. So go you for being here and giving it a great shot. Because the more you progress, the stronger you're gonna be, the better you're gonna feel, and you're going to reach all your long-term health and fitness goals too while you're at it. So we're gonna get started with the first exercise, standing with our feet parallel. So what feet parallel means is your feet standing facing forward, not out like a duck. This happens to a lot of us. And as we do this exercise, there's a chance that you're just gonna go back to that duck mode again as soon as we move our arms. So just check yourself, okay? So feet parallel, and then I'm gonna get you to bring one foot forward, so your right foot forward in this case. You're gonna press that heel into the floor, lift your toes up, and then reach your right arm forward. As you do that, bring your left hand back. This naturally will create a bit of a twist with your rib cage, and depending on how you're feeling with that left side, you might actually feel a stretch around your right rib cage. Surprise, sometimes when we have left issues, we have right tightness that we aren't even aware of. So if you're feeling that, that's a good sign. And then I'm just gonna get you to hang out and breathe here. Just notice how it feels, if you can feel that space around the right rib cage, the diaphragm in the back. And I'll just kind of stand over here on the side now so you can see from this view, I'm feeling all of this area open and stretch. And then what this is doing in the back is it's opening up my left side, my left shoulders, my left arm is working, these left back muscles are supporting me, and it's kind of giving my body a little bit of a TLC that it needs. And this is also a movement that you actually might do when you're walking, you're swinging your arms and moving your legs at the same time. Sometimes when we're walking, we actually don't turn enough on that right side or move those right arms enough to properly twist to go to our left side, which is why our left side can experience pain, because sometimes we walk and we don't really move the arms, and so we don't get full range of motion in our ribs and our hips when we're walking. So to think, right now, just this one exercise, so valuable. Connecting with that body, one foot in front, feel that twist, and then go outside now, go for a walk. After you finish the video and the other exercises, but when you go for a walk, just think about swinging your arm and notice how that feels. Notice if you feel the way your weight shifts as you do this. You can even just try this standing now, just moving your arms. So we can call this the second exercise. Just connecting with long arms and feeling how our weight shifts from side to side. Now, to not add too much confusion, when we're walking, we don't generally just walk like this, right? It's generally opposite, but the reason why I got you to do it like this was because it just kind of helps us stretch out that right side a little bit more when it's tight. So now going back to this exercise where we just move our arms back and forth, feeling that twist in our body, and you're breathing in and out through the nose, making sure that you're not holding your breath. Good. And then take a break. That might look really simple, but I want you to assess and see, were you able to keep your arms straight the whole time, or did you have a bend in your elbows? A lot of people do have a bend in the elbows when they're moving their arms. So try to challenge yourself. Can you keep those arms straight? Because that's helping your arms work better, and that's helping your core work better. Everything just kind of flows nicely. The next thing we're gonna do is we're going to do a variation of a glute bridge or hip thrust. But what we're gonna do is position our feet so that we're more in like a B stance. And this is gonna be helpful if you feel a little bit asymmetrical, or if you have that, you will have a bit of that asymmetry going on with your hips, which would cause a bit of that pain. So I'm going to get you to just bring one foot with your heel planted into the floor like so. The other foot's gonna be flat. So I'll just show you like this, like that. On this side, it's probably a bit easier to see from where the angle is set up. And then you want to make sure when you're hanging out in this position that you feel the weight around where the bra strap would be in the back of the shoulder blades. You don't want to feel like you're like this arching, but I don't want you to freak out when I say the word arching and think that you have to over tuck your pelvis here. I really just want you to take that rib cage and just adjust yourself so that position is more like a V shape like this. And that can just be making that tiny adjustment with where the weight is sitting on your bra strap. And then from here, you're going to just drop your hips down. Hopefully you'll feel a nice opening or stretch in the back of your hip. And then you're gonna press through that foot and then lift up. You really wanna make sure that you're not over squeezing muscles, but you're thinking about the energy going into the floor with the feet here. And whichever muscles will kick in, will kick in. So in this case, you might feel your hamstrings, your inner thigh, your glutes, you might feel everybody. Or if you feel one area maybe a bit too intense, let me know. Always good to know what you're feeling. And then drop down, breathe in through the nose, and then exhale, coming up. And then if I switch sides so you can see. So I would also just add this in regardless of if you're doing both sides, or if you have your pain on your left side, do both sides, because you might benefit in a way that you don't realize from also doing the other side. So in this case, I'll just have my right foot, heel like so, left foot flat, and then drop down, and then press my foot into the floor. And then coming down, breathe in, and then exhale, press my foot into the floor. And then depending on how high the bench is that you're sitting on, that will obviously impact how high you're going as well. Depending on how tall you are, you might want something a little bit higher up. If you're shorter, you might want something maybe around this height, or maybe even a stability ball is fine too. And then just by staying in this B stance position, or more or less, it doesn't have to be completely perfect, it's just giving you a little bit of stability. The next exercise we're gonna do looks a little bit challenging depending on your fitness level, but I know from experience from helping a lot of people who are maybe not as fit as they'd like to be, the minute they get their setup correct, the exercise becomes a lot easier. So what I'm gonna get you to do is just place one heel against the wall and one foot down on the floor, bent at maybe about 90 degrees-ish or 45 degree-ish. You don't have to bend super low, but just kind of have that soft bend in the knee. And the goal is gonna be, we're gonna think about our hips and we're going to focus on turning our torso towards that side that we're going down on, and then coming up. And as a result of this, you're gonna feel this hip rotate. And as we do that, that's gonna really allow your glute muscles to work properly, your inner thighs, your hamstrings, and your core all working together. This also just kind of helps a lot of that pain that you feel in the front, whether it's the right or the left side actually, because a lot of the time that pain is that muscle wants to be able to go back like this and then come back out. And this is very important for when we do any dynamic lower body work or lunges, split squats, Bulgarian split squats, so many lower body exercises. So I'll just switch legs here. And so when we do the left side, often what happens time and time again is that left knee just comes forward and it doesn't go back enough. So chances are, if you're experiencing that tension right around here, take that thigh, send it back as you drop down. Feel that stretch in your left butt, left hamstring area, and then come up with a little bit of rotation like that. Don't overdo it. It's just a tiny little thing. Tiny movement, drop down, come up. Drop down, come up. If you are not feeling that stretch here, you are going to likely feel a lot of tension here, and you're gonna look like this. So you might think, oh, I'm doing it okay, but I'm feeling a lot of tension here. Ouchie, knee pain. Oh, I feel very uncomfortable just hanging out here. So no wonder you probably will hurt if you do this. So we gotta send that bone back, feel that stretch, and then come up. So whether you do I call this a rotational lunge. So whether you're doing a rotational lunge, or even if you're doing a split squat or reverse lunge, whichever variation, whether it's static or not, you're still always going to need to make sure you're getting that stretch back here. And getting that stretch in the back of here is what's opening up space here, which is what we want to achieve. And it's going to change the tension in the front to calm it down and strengthen that backside. So Lupo has now taken my other mat that I was just going to set up for this exercise, but anyways, we'll try our best. So hopefully you can see me okay. So I'm gonna start with my feet planted on the wall, and I want you to position yourself so you're not completely 90 degrees, maybe just a little bit less. So you just have a bit of room here, because the goal of this next exercise is gonna be your right knee is gonna just drive forward like this, and then it's gonna lengthen back out to the wall. So you wanna have a bit of space to do that. So see whatever feels comfortable for you. And then as we do this, we're going to be thinking about pushing our left foot into the wall, which is going to give us that range. We're gonna feel our hips kind of open and soften in the back and strengthen. So your lower back should feel really good here. You'll feel your core muscles working, and then you're going to just straighten that right knee as you come back down. And then exhale, come up. You'll feel the core again on that left side working really nicely together. Your feet is pressing into the wall. That's really signaling to your brain to say, hey, as my foot strikes the floor or strikes the wall, turn on all these muscles, and you just feel them firing as you hang out here. But the goal is not to hang out here. I'm just exaggerating this for this exercise tutorial. But ideally, we want to be able to just go back and forth like this. And with the breathing, exhale here, inhale here. Exhale here, inhale here. And if you ever look down at your hips, you want to make sure that your toes aren't out like this. Really important to get the benefits. Your feet have to be parallel. By having your foot parallel and feeling the right pressures in the base, in the middle of your ball of your foot here, and also in your big, on your heel, you're going to feel your inner thighs, your glutes, your hamstrings, everything just kind of kick in together. If you don't have your feet connected to the wall properly, or you're missing certain points, it will definitely impact which muscles are working. And then just for fun, for safekeeping, it never hurts to also do both sides. And you can also mix it up by changing the angle. So you can go a little bit closer to the wall at about 90 degrees. If you like, or you can go a little bit further and you're going to target different parts of your hamstring. And then from here, if all of this is looking good and you're feeling strong in here, then I'd say, okay, let's do some squats. And do you feel balanced in your squat? Or do you feel like you're still a bit lopsided? If so, we probably need to do a few other things to just kind of sort you out, because sometimes the tension could be being pulled from somewhere else in our body.